I'm Jason Luton, and this is WGEM News Now for the 3 p.m. hour. Well, school safety is top of mind ahead of the new school year, and a new effort in Illinois aims to help schools alert first responders about emergencies faster. The newly signed law requires public and private schools to consider using a mobile panic alert system for emergency and crisis response. Sponsors say the Illinois State Police will work with the State Board of Education and an Illinois Emergency Management Agency to develop rules for the panic alert system.
This law is named for Alyssa Al-Hadef, a young student who was killed in a school shooting. Her parents asked a basic question afterwards. Why wasn't there a faster way to alert first responders? States across the country responded with Alyssa's law, and today, Illinois joins that movement.
The law gained unanimous support in both chambers. It will take effect January 1st. Federal health officials say a drug-resistant fungal infection is spreading in healthcare settings, and Illinois is among the hardest hit states. The CDC reports more than 3,000 Candida auris infections nationwide this year, including almost 380 in Illinois. That's the third most in the country. The fungus can spread quickly in hospitals and nursing homes, especially among patients using breathing tubes or catheters. It's often resistant to common antifungal drugs. Phones are a major part of our everyday lives, but according to a recent article by Fast Company, they come with potential health risks. Researchers say that increased screen time may come with health consequences, including digital eye strain, neck pain from looking down for extended periods, and even changes in hand strength from repetitive use. While we utilize these tools for work and socializing, one Missouri doctor says texting less and calling more is one productive step.
Really bothering you and it's really aggravating you, you can walk away from it for a little bit. I like the 20-20-20 rule that people do with computers as well. It's every 20 minutes, take 20 seconds and look 20 feet away. That way you're not tetaning your focus to right here all the time.
The American Optometric Association notes that children with dry eye disease average less time outside, while children without dry eyes spend more time outside. Well, most of us will be staying close to the AC the next few days, but as we get back outdoors, doctors remind everyone to remember the importance of sun protection. Doctors say the sun can harm us if we're outside for an extended period. They say that's why people should still wear sunscreen or protective gear when going out. UV rays, even in winter, can cause damage to our skin. One dermatologist says, be careful while you're enjoying your time outside.
So basically, anytime you get a tan, it's damaging your DNA. So the more, again, cumulative DNA damage you have, the increased risk of skin cancer. There's a lot of different types of skin cancers. The most common types people get are the basal cell carcinoma and the squamous cell carcinoma, as well as the melanoma, which could be, which is the one that people hear about in the news that is more aggressive and can be more detrimental.
The doctors say that people should be mindful and spend time in the sun in moderation. A proposed solar facility tops the Quincy City Council's agenda tonight. This proposed facility would be just north of Neaters Lane and South 12th Street. The Planning Commission approved the project under the conditions that it abides by the City Code for commercial solar energy facilities and that it follows the city site plan review process in order for the special use permit to be granted. Also, the Quincy Regional Airport Director, Aeronautics Committee, and the purchasing manager recommend the approval of more than $12,000 for emergency repairs on the airport fence. Airport Director Bill Lance says 120 feet of fence and an emergency shutoff for the fuel farm were among the items damaged after a driver hit the equipment at the airport on August 2nd. Police later arrested the man they believed was the driver. Members of the Illinois County Bicentennial Committee and people in the community turned out for a time capsule dedication over the weekend. In 2075, the box will be unsealed. It contains letters, school history, and government records, just to name a few. People who turned out got to look inside the box and see items that will be preserved. Mayor Linda Moore says it will give future generations a look into what life in Adams County was like. The Quincy Public School Board has called a special board meeting to discuss the future of some tenured employees. According to the meeting agenda, there are 2 resolutions regarding the suspension and dismissal of a tenured teacher. The meeting is set for tomorrow at noon at the Board of Education office. And the Quincy Croc Center has closed its pool over the weekend for maintenance. Croc officials say the work will last for 2 months, opening October 19th. They say the work will allow several projects to be completed to improve safety. Members are able to use the Hannibal YMCA pool for free. Here's a look now at some headlines from around the nation and world today. President Trump has signed an executive order calling for spacing out childhood vaccines into separate medical visits and splitting the combined measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine into 3 different shots. Trump has long suspected that the number or timing of vaccines could play a role in autism spectrum disorder, even as scientific consensus and decades of studies have firmly concluded there is no link. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the contiguous United States set a record for its hottest month ever in July. Last month averaged 76.89 degrees Fahrenheit across the lower 48, eclipsing the Dust Bowl's July 1936 by an eighth of a degree. Hotter than normal conditions blanketed the lower 48, with the most excessive heat in the Mountain West, Southwest, Northern Plains, and Southeast. The World Health Organization says the fastest growing Ebola outbreak started in February, months before it was officially declared in May. The WHO regional director says early cases were wrongly attributed to malaria and typhoid. Confirmed cases have now reached more than 4,200, with more than 1,900 deaths. And a powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake has struck western Colombia, killing at least 11 people and damaging hundreds of buildings. The president there has declared an emergency to expedite funding for recovery. You can stay up to date on those stories and more coming up on Local News Live. That's it for WGEM News Now at this hour. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 with more. In the meantime, you can stay in the know at WGEM.com. with our mobile news and smart TV apps, and by watching WGEM News at 5, 6, and 10.